this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the day's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Saturday the 4th of September. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, looking at the hourly candlesticks, mixed start to the morning. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 49,825 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 51,318. Support's going to be needed to break out from the 23.6% fib at 50,473 and back through to 51,000 levels. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 51,142 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin target 53,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level is at 52,635. Fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 48,508 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, however, Bitcoin should avoid sub 48. Second major support level sits at 47,015. Looking at MACDs, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross. So keep an eye out for further widening there to pressure Bitcoin through the day. On the EMAs, the 50 is holding its ground against the 100 and the 200, widening slightly, suggesting further upside ahead. So key would be to avoid a fallback through the pivot at 49,825 and break out from the 23.6% fib to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, support levels will come into play. Moving across to Ethereum against US dollar, positive start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 3894 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 40,077. Plenty of support is going to be needed from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 4,000 and break out from yesterday's high at 4030.35. So barring an extended rally on day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 4100 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, we got the second major resistance level at 4213 to cap any upside on the day. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 3757 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 3600 levels. Second major support level sits at 3574. Looking at MACDs, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, so look out for a further narrowing to support further upside ahead. On the EMAs, bullish signal still with the 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. So key, avoid the pivot at 3894, break through yesterday's high 4030.35 to bring resistance levels into play. Across the Litecoin against the US dollar, mixed start to the day. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid the pivot at 204 to take a run at the first major resistance at 228. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high that was at 218. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Litecoin target the second major resistance level at 242 before any pullback. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 189 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid the 23.6% fib at 178. Second major support level sits at 166. Looking at the MACDs, marked narrowing of the bullish histograms through the turn of the day. So look out for a possible bearish cross. On the EMAs, however, that's a bullish signal, 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through the pivot at 204, break out from yesterday's high 218 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, support levels will come into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, mixed start to the day as well. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 1.2782 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 1.3362. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break out from yesterday's high that was at 1.32354. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 1.35 to cap the upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ripple's XRP target resistance at 1.4 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1.3815. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1.2328 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 1.2s. Second major support level sits at 1.1748. Looking at the MACDs, that's bearish widening of the bearish histograms through the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross. That's suggesting further downside, so look out for direction there. On the EMAs, 50 has held its ground on the 100 and the 200, however, so need to look out for direction there as well. Any further narrowing would likely pressure Ripple's XRP. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 1.2782 and break through yesterday's high at 1.32354 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, support levels will come into play.